historic Lahore High Court Bar as the relationship between the Pakistan People's Party and the legal fraternity, the relationship between Qaid-e-Awam Shaheed Zulfikar Ali Bhutto and the legal fraternity, the relationship between Shaheed Mohtarama Benazir Bhutto and the legal fraternity are part of the history of Pakistan. The law is the glue that binds society together. Law is the bridge between the state and the people. Without the law, no progress is possible. No civilized society is possible. No democracy is possible. My party and I have a special relationship with the law. When the Pakistan People's Party was formed in this very city of Lahore, a leading newspaper, Dawn, reported, and I quote, "A group of briefless lawyers have formed a party." 55 years later, the party formed by lawyers still fight for the rule of law, for the constitutional supremacy, and for the people of Pakistan. Pakistan was formed by a lawyer, Qaid-e-Azam Muhammad Ali Jinnah, and Pakistan was made a constitutional, democratic, Islamic republic. We were given a constitution, we were given democracy, one man, one vote, to that too by a lawyer, Qaid-e-Awam Shaheed Zulfikar Ali Bhutto. I have been and continue to be a witness and a victim of our justice system. As a child, I accompanied my mother to courts and to meet my father in prison, who spent in total 11 and a half years in prison without a single conviction. And for 30 years, Shaheed Mohtarama Benazir Bhutto and Sadr Zardari faced persecution at the hands of the state, of the government at the time, be it in the form of the Ihtisab Bureau, be it in the form of the National Accountability Bureau. But we are eternally grateful. We are eternally grateful because as far as history is concerned, history has given its verdict कि या अल्लाह या रसूल बेनज़ीर बेकसूर. History has given its verdict, and those very courts जहां ये cases चलते थे, चीफ जस्टिस इफ्तिकार चौधरी के दौर में उन्हीं कोर्ट्स में हर एक केस में शहीद मोहतरमा बेनज़ीर भुट्टो को, सदर जरदारी को बाइज्जत बरी कर दिया. The Lahore High Court is part of the history of Pakistan. Shaheed Zulfikar Ali Bhutto was denied a free trial, and a conspiracy to execute his judicial murder was orchestrated at this very Lahore High Court. As I had said, as far as Sadr Zardari is concerned, and Shaheed Mohtarma Benazir Bhutto is concerned, history is given the verdict and the court is also given its verdict. But as far as Shaheed Zulfikar Ali Bhutto is concerned, those who conspired to murder Qaid-e-Awam, Shaheed Zulfikar Ali Bhutto, have been consigned to the dustbins of history. Their names are remembered as only a smear on the face of our Constitution, on the face of our Republic, on the face of their institutions. And Qaid-e-Awam Shaheed Zulfikar Ali Bhutto lives to this day in the hearts of the people. The verdict of history and the verdict of the Pakistani public is loud and clear. We still await the rectification of this historic wrong through the courts of Pakistan. This is not a personal request. When the presidential reference was sent in Shaheed Zulfikar Ali Bhutto's case, it was not because his son-in-law was the president of Pakistan, asking for justice. It is because this is an injustice with the people of Pakistan. How can the people of Pakistan hope for justice from the law? How can the people of Pakistan expect justice under the Constitution if the founder of that very Constitution to this day still awaits justice? I would like to thank the lawyers of not only the Lahore High Court bar, but from across the length and breadth of this country, who have never accepted this decision, who have fought every day of their legal profession to reject this decision, to the judges of the judiciary who have refused to allow this decision to form a precedent for our country. But it is time to remove this stain from the judiciary of Pakistan if we are to prove to the world that we in fact have a free and independent judiciary. A free and independent judiciary must free itself of the injustices of the past, of the historic wrongs, of the illegal decisions that endorse dictatorships, that endorse the rule of General Musharraf, that endorse the rule of General Zia-ul-Haq, but condemned Qaid-e-Awam to the gallows. We do not doubt how honorable our lawyers community are. No, we do not doubt the honor of our honorable judges. But we expect that they right this wrong so that we can travel shoulder to shoulder and build a truly democratic Islamic Republic of Pakistan. The rule of law is the soul of a democratic system. The present selected government seeks to strip apart the rule of law. The responsibility to protect the rule of law falls on us, all politicians, lawyers, and judges. Sadly, history shows that we have thus far failed to discharge our responsibilities, and more often than not, the scales of justice often side with the oppressors of the people. There have been shining examples Despite our history of mistreatment, we have not lost faith. We have not lost faith in the law as an ideal. The trials, the witch hunts, the tribulations have only strengthened our resolve to strive for a judicial system which is fair, which is just, and which is equitable. We are not fighting for one family, we are not fighting for one party, but against a system which fails millions of people. We don't get fair trials, are denied due process, and are denied basic facilities in prison. No modern state can function in the absence of a fair legal system. A cruel joke has been played upon the people of our country in the name of accountability. Undoubtedly, Pakistan needs a system of accountability, a system which is fair, non-discriminatory, transparent and efficient. Not the present witch hunt and persecution of opponents and of those who expose the ineptness and the insecurities of the regime. The courts have a responsibility to uphold the values of fundamental rights, fair trial, and due process. Unfortunately, very often, we have failed to do so and have unwittingly become instruments of the persecutors. I would like to share with you that while this is my first term in Parliament as a member of the National Assembly, and as a young politician starting my political journey, of course, the role of Parliament has not met our expectations. And perhaps we have become a member of one of the worst performing parliaments in the history of Pakistan. And we strive for the betterment of our own institution. For not only myself, but the people of Pakistan saw hope after the formation or the restoration of democracy in 2008. No matter the difficulties, it was widely believed that Pakistan is transitioning, transitioning towards democracy. One step forward, two steps back, two steps forward, one step back. But it is now undeniably clear that in the time of Imran Khan, Pakistan is not transitioning towards democracy. Pakistan is transitioning away from democracy. Pakistan is not transitioning towards democracy. We are transitioning towards authoritarianism and dictatorships, and we must fight this. As our expectations have not been met on the political front, the lawyers community had inspired me a great deal in my youth. For as I was about to embark on my studies, the legal community in Pakistan was struggling for the freedom of our judiciary, for the independence of our judiciary. और एतज़ाज़ साहब कह रहा था कि रियासत होगी माँ की जैसी. But unfortunately, Khosa Saab yahan baitha hai. I still remember to this day how his head was split open in the fight for the restoration of an independent judiciary. मैं कराची से आया हूँ, मुझे आज तक याद है 12 मई जहाँ पाकिस्तान पीपल्स पार्टी के एक कारकुन शहीद हुए आज़ाद अदलिया की बुनियाद. But the struggle for an independent judiciary was not for any one judge. It was for the idea of a democracy which could not function until we had an independent judiciary that was run on the basis of rule of law. And while we have the utmost respect for the legal community, utmost respect for our honorable judges, unfortunately, the expectations that we had during your movement, personally, I feel they have not been met. For me, the Chief Justice of Pakistan should be deciding constitutional issues, not samosa ki qeemat, chini ki qeemat. For me, the judiciary of Pakistan is a place for the battle of legal ideas, for jurisprudence, for constitutionalism, for the fundamentals of human rights and human dignity. It is not a place for us to decide where or where not to build a dam. The higher judiciary is the place where the weakest and the meekest of the meek turn for protection. It is the one source of shelter for the poorest of the poor. And it is indeed absolutely an affront to this principle that we had to watch, unable to speak, unable to act, when instead of deciding the fundamentals of the legal framework, instead of confronting a full-blown assault on democracy that has resulted in this selected regime, some judges took it upon themselves to busy the courts, to busy the legal community on deciding which buildings should be broken, which buildings should not be broken. We appeal to the honorable bar, we appeal to the members of the legal community, we appeal to the honorable judges whose intelligence, dignity, and honor are beyond question, that the fate of the judiciary of Pakistan, the fate of democracy is in your hands. There's the blood, sweat, and tears of generations of lawyers that has contributed to the dignity of this profession. Justice Cornelius, there are so many justices that have made their mark on history, who are respected not only in Pakistan, not only in the region, but across the world. The fate of the future of the judicial system and democracy in Pakistan lies in your hands. We beseech you, we beg you, from those of us who have always bowed before the rule of law, from those of us who have always bowed before the Constitution of Pakistan, we beseech you, okay, please save the judiciary of Pakistan, save the legal community of Pakistan. We have a choice. We are at a fork in the road. We can either set an example when on one side of our borders we have an extremist regime, on the other side of our borders we have another extremist regime. Pakistan has the opportunity to shine as a beacon of light, of democracy, of modernity. Or we could go on the wrong fork of the road. We can make a mockery of our parliament, we can make a joke of our judiciary. We choose to make the right choices. We founded this country, we founded a democratic, federal, pluralistic society the lawyers of Pakistan have made every single dictator shake. वो डरते हैं आपके ब्लैक कोट से, आपके सामने, in front of you, there is no power, no authoritarianism that can withstand the might of a united legal fraternity. And this is why I choose to conclude by summing up what the Pakistan People's Party has decided: to challenge this regime of today and to call upon the legal community who once stood shoulder to shoulder with Qaid-e-Awam Shaheed Zulfikar Ali Bhutto, who once stood shoulder to shoulder with Shaheed Mohtarama Benazir Bhutto, to once again stand with the party founded by those briefless lawyers to save our constitution and to save democracy. The People's Party has decided to march, to lead an Awami march that will start on the 27th of February and make its way to Islamabad. We march to save our democracy. We march to save our democracy, to save our constitution, to save our economy, and to save our country. We march because it is our democratic right to protest, and we are a democratic people. We do not believe in ransacking the courts. We do not believe in ransacking Parliament. We do not believe in attacking PTV. We do believe in democratic solutions. We will run a campaign against this selected government. We will run a campaign that the people of Pakistan have lost faith in this Prime Minister. We will run a campaign calling on each and every parliamentarian to join us in bringing a no-confidence motion to democratically challenge this incompetent government. We will show the people of Pakistan कि इस वक्त जब वो मुश्किल में है, जब मुआशी बहरान है, जब इंसानी हकूक पे हमले हो रहे हैं, जब जमहूरियत का जनाजा निकाला गया है, तो कौन सा पार्लियामेंटेरियन, कौन सा नेशनल असेंबली का उम्मीदवार अवाम के साथ खड़ा है और कौन सिलेक्टेड के साथ खड़ा है. We pray inshallah ta'ala, God willing, we will succeed. We must succeed to save Pakistan. Pakistan Zindabad.
कानून के बगैर कोई रियासत कायम नहीं रह सकती। आसिफ जरदारी और बेनज़ीर पर बेबुनियाद इल्ज़ाम लगाए गए। चेयरमैन पीपल्स पार्टी बिलावल भुट्टो लाहौर हाई कोर्ट बार से खिताब कर रहे थे।